ice in Toronto is a relentless, unforgiving stage, and the spotlight on our goaltending situation burns brighter than ever. Just when we thought the Joseph Woll chapter was closed, and the pursuit of a true Vezina-caliber netminder like Connor Hellebuyck was dominating the narrative, a new name has entered the conversation. One that brings with it both the allure of past glory and the trepidation of recent struggles, Adin Hill. This isn't just about acquiring a goalie. It's about navigating a complex web of roster needs, cap space, and the delicate balance between immediate impact and long-term development. The front office, under John Chayka's watchful eye, is clearly exploring every possible avenue to solidify the crease, but the potential acquisition of Hill presents a unique set of challenges and opportunities that demand careful consideration. The reverberations of such a move will be felt throughout our goaltending depth chart, impacting the promising young talents we've been cultivating. We're talking about a gamble, a high-stakes poker game where the general manager is weighing the potential for a bounce-back performance against the risk of an expensive, underperforming asset. For too long, the Leafs have grappled with goaltending inconsistency, a problem that has haunted our playoff aspirations. And now, with the prospect of bringing in a Stanley Cup winner, albeit one coming off a difficult season, the management is faced with a critical decision. Do we chase the proven, albeit recently faltering champion, or do we trust in the burgeoning talent within our own system? The whispers will turn into shouts, the debates will rage, and the passion will ignite. Because when you consider a player like Hill, you're not just adding a name to the roster. You're signaling a clear intent, a strategic shift that could either stabilize our net or create further complications. This isn't for the faint of heart. Folks, this is the Toronto Maple Leafs, and the drama just got dialed up to 11. The Toronto Maple Leafs made a significant move earlier this offseason when they traded goaltender Joseph Woll to the Philadelphia Flyers. This decision came after the 27-year-old goalie was the subject of trade rumors following the Maple Leafs' disappointing 2025-26 season, a season where his numbers and the team's defensive struggles were a constant point of contention. Now, after clearing Woll from the picture, the Maple Leafs are being viewed as a potential match for one of the NHL's most notable goalie trade candidates, Aiden Hill of the Vegas Golden Knights. The Athletic's Jesse Granger recently named the Maple Leafs as the best landing spot for Hill this offseason, a suggestion that immediately sparks both intrigue and caution within Leafs Nation. Granger's reasoning is compelling, at least on the surface. More importantly for Toronto, Hill has a stellar playoff record, Granger wrote. Hill would pair well with Anthony Stolarz, who is under contract for the next 4 seasons at a modest $3.75 million cap hit. Both are big, athletic goalies with an edge to their game. Plus, Hill's personality is built for the pressure of goaltending in Toronto. The idea of the Maple Leafs bringing in Hill after trading Woll is certainly intriguing. Hill, a Stanley Cup winner, possesses the kind of playoff pedigree that is highly coveted in Toronto. His ability to perform under pressure, as evidenced by his 2023 championship run, is a significant draw. Pairing him with Anthony Stolarz, who is under contract for a reasonable $3.75 million cap hit for the next 4 seasons, could theoretically create a formidable tandem of big, athletic goalies. However, the Maple Leafs have other pressing roster needs that they must address, and they would need to think very carefully before swinging a deal for an expensive goaltender like Hill. This is where the allure of a Stanley Cup winner meets the harsh reality of salary cap management and recent performance. It is not a secret that the 2025-26 campaign was a tough year for Hill. In 27 games with the Golden Knights this season, he had a 10-9-6 record and .871 save percentage and a 3.04 goals against average. These numbers are, frankly, concerning. A .871 save percentage is well below league average and would represent a serious gamble for any team, let alone one with the championship aspirations of the Maple Leafs. This is especially so when noting that he is entering only the second season of his 6-year, $37.5 million contract in 2026-27, carrying a substantial $6.25 million AAV. With numbers like these, the Maple Leafs would be taking a serious risk if they brought in Hill. The question becomes, was last season an anomaly, a blip on the radar, or a sign of a decline? However, when looking at Hill's resume, there is reason to believe that he could bounce back next season. Before this past season, he had a .901 save percentage, or better, in each of his previous 7 campaigns. He also memorably led the Golden Knights to their Stanley Cup championship in 2023, posting a stellar .932 save percentage and a 2.17 goals against average in 16 appearances. With this, he has shown that he can be a very good goalie when he is on his game, capable of stealing games and carrying a team deep into the playoffs. This is a dilemma. Do you bet on the proven track record and the Stanley Cup pedigree, hoping for a return of form, or do you shy away from the recent struggles and a hefty contract? While Hill has the potential to bounce back, the Maple Leafs should probably avoid trading for him. And here's why. One of the primary reasons why the Maple Leafs traded Wall this summer was to open the door for Dennis Hildebrand to be on their NHL roster full-time. Hildebrand proved that he is ready for the NHL this past season, as he had a .912 save percentage and a 2.86 goals against average in 20 games for the Maple Leafs. He's shown composure, athleticism, and a readiness for the big stage. Bringing in an expensive, long-term commitment like Hill would undoubtedly block Hildebrand's path and potentially stifle his development. Furthermore, the Maple Leafs also have a rising goalie prospect in Artur Akhtamov, who just helped the Toronto Marlies win the Calder Cup in the AHL. In 22 games this postseason for the AHL club, he had a 15-7 record, a 2.22 goals against average, a .923 save percentage, and 2 shutouts. With this, the 24-year-old is knocking on the door to the NHL, and bringing in Hill would only block him further. The Leafs have invested significant time and resources into developing these young netminders, and it would be counterproductive to stunt their growth by acquiring an expensive, potentially redundant asset. The strategic move to trade Wall was about creating opportunity and flexibility in the crease. It was about trusting the internal development of prospects like Hildebrand and Akhtamov. Acquiring Hill, with his contract and recent performance, would contradict that strategy. It would tie up significant cap space that could be used to address other pressing needs, such as a high-impact center like Vincent Trocheck or a top-pairing defenseman, or even a power forward like Alex Tuch. Nevertheless, it will be interesting to see if the Maple Leafs make a push for Hill. John Chayka has shown a willingness to be bold, and the allure of a Stanley Cup-winning goaltender is undeniable. However, with the Maple Leafs having promising young goalies in their system and other critical roster needs, they should probably avoid bringing in an expensive netminder like Hill. The risk-reward simply doesn't align with the current strategic direction of the franchise. The focus should remain on maximizing the potential of Hildebrand and Akhtamov, while using valuable cap space and assets to acquire players who fill undeniable gaps in the roster, rather than creating a logjam in net. The path to the Stanley Cup is paved with smart decisions, not just big names. What do you think, Leafs Nation? Is Aiden Hill a gamble worth taking, given his Stanley Cup pedigree? Or do his recent struggles and hefty contract make him too risky an acquisition, especially with promising young goalies like Hildebrand and Akhtamov knocking on the door? Should Chayka prioritize other roster needs over an expensive goaltender with an inconsistent recent track record? This is a critical decision that could shape the future of our goaltending for years to come. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you bleed blue and white, if you live and breathe Toronto Maple Leafs hockey, then you know what to do. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and join the conversation. Because together as Leafs Nation, we will follow every twist and turn, every rumor and report, on our relentless pursuit of the Stanley Cup. Go Leafs go!